All right, welcome everyone to our session today. Let's see, hold on a moment. And Margaret, can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me? Thank you. All right, so welcome to our breakout session today. My name is Lisa Fowler. I'm the Interim Associate Vice President of People and Workplace Culture. I am, in my alter identity, I am also a faculty member in the School of Business, teaching employment law, human resources, and business law. I am happy to be in this interim role. Maybe you can see from the two classes I teach, and also, but from also my experience, I'm really excited to be in this role. It's something that I wanted to do when I graduated from college, and years have gone by, and I'm here. So. I'm happy to be serving. I also have a great team. As I've gotten to know the people, my team in People and Workplace Culture, I've been impressed with their work, their vision, their efforts, and they're amazing people. And I'm really grateful to be working with them. Their support and their work is just amazing. And that's one thing we want to share. I want to share with you today. So let me see. I need to change the slide. Okay, there we go. So our strategy that was assigned to PWC is strategy 7, which is to increase diversity in hiring and also to increase employee retention or improve employee retention. So I'm going to have my people share what they're doing in their efforts in this. James Broadbent is our Human Resource Director of Faculty Services. So he's going to share what he's done this year to achieve this strategy. Then we'll have Juan Kadri speak, and she will talk about the Racial Equity in the Professoriate program that she's leading. Then we'll have Lauren Erlicher speak. She is in our onboarding office, and she manages onboarding and recruiting for us. And then we'll have Shaw McNeil speak. Shaw will share about our search advocacy program and tell you how that's progressed in the last year and what you can do or how you could participate in that program. Then we'll have also hopefully we'll have some time for a short Q&A time. If you do have questions, please throw them in the chat. I've got Anjali Pai and Liz Rogers monitoring our chat. They will stop us to let us know if a question comes up that we should answer right away, or we will preserve questions to the end and address them then. So first of all, I'd like to turn the time over then to James Broadbent. He will talk to you about what we're doing in HR. Whoops, I just did something. There we go. Okay, I'm going to hand it over to James.
Hello, thanks for coming today. My name is James Broadbent, and I am the HR Director for Faculty Services in HR and PWC. And I wanted to share with you some things that we have done to help promote the diversity of hiring of faculty. And if I
Let's go down to this corner.
Oh, okay.
There you are.
All right.
There you
go. Okay, I'd like to share with you our hiring philosophy, and just give me a second here. Okay, so every position at Salt Lake Community College is critical in our ability to achieve our shared institutional objectives. Every time we hire a staff member, administrator, faculty member, or student employee, we are given a chance to enhance our community and demonstrate our college values of accountability, diversity, respect, and responsibility. I'd like to just say here that it is important for us as we hire our new employees, as they come into the college, we need to recognize and understand that these employees, faculty members or staff or administrators, they have come in with a lot of experience from their places of work and employment before. They come in with a great amount of different perspectives, a different background. And we need to foster in on those different perspectives and backgrounds of the new hires and our new employees, because they have strengths that we saw during the hiring process that they could help us achieve our goals and our objectives here at the college. And so, of course, otherwise we wouldn't have hired them, you know. So one of the things that I'll show you later is that that we try to through the application process show or demonstrate our values as a college, and we try to recruit or try to align those values with the applicant's values, and those are the people that we want to hire, or the ones that we share those same values with us. We also we have to do this by using fair, legal, inclusive, and effective hiring practice that support and comply with Salt Lake Community College policies and procedures in a way that is mindful of a climate, culture, and diversity, and affirming unique qualities of each individual through the hiring process. You know, in HR, in the HR world, we want to be inclusive, and we want to, you know, expand our applicant pools, and we want to be able to and hire the best qualified individuals for the positions. But yet we also have, we are subject to some compliance laws and things that that might create barriers in the applicant process. And those are things that I wanted to talk about today. One of the things that we have done, especially during this past year, to help reduce those barriers in hiring. So I think you have seen this picture before. We got three pictures here, one of equality, one of equity, and one of justice. In equality, we have three individuals who are trying to watch the soccer game. And the assumption is that everyone benefits from the same support. So in order for us to help this group of people to see the game, we all gave them one box of the same size. Although that did help in some way, but as you can see, the little the person that is the smallest still is not able to see. So sometimes giving the same support for everyone does not provide them the opportunities that that everyone else shares. So then there another thought is that everyone gets the support that they need in order to overcome the barriers. And so then we have the tall guy not have a box, but then the short person has two boxes. But as you can see, the fence is still in the way. You know, so if we didn't have the fence in the way, we wouldn't really need to make the additional accommodations or provide them with the boxes. But in the justice thought is that we remove the barrier. The barrier is the fence. And so and that way we don't have to provide so many accommodations for everyone to enjoy the game. And so what I want to talk about today, like I said before, is some of the things that we've done in HR with hiring a faculty that have helped take away some of those barriers. And one of the biggest things is the barrier is the hiring of is in the hiring process is that we, you know, by law, we can't hire somebody that is not eligible to work in the United States. These are usually your non-citizens that don't have a visa process, a visa sponsorship. And so this has been kind of a problem, an issue that we've had in the past. And this past year, I have worked with with Chris Lacombe and did some research and try to find out to give us a best practice overall and how we can, what are some things that we can do to eliminate this barrier. On the HR webpage, there is a memo that's H-1B visa for non-US citizens applications FAQ. I would encourage you guys to go to there and to look at it. That does go into detail the things that we need to do to hire an H-1B visa. And one of the things that came out of this was that The hiring manager and dean will have the option to accept applicants who are not eligible to work in the United States. They can make this choice during the requisition process or before the posting is advertised. Now, this gives them the opportunity to say, yes, we're interested in going through the process if we need to, and we have the resources available, and this is something that we would like to do. If that's the case, then great. Then we're able to screen and interview those that would have those that would probably need a sponsorship visa. Or we have some departments that might not have the resources needed, and so they can decide not to go through the process. And if that's the case, then what we post on the posting is the language that's here. Applicants must currently be authorized to work in the United States on a full-time basis. Now, why? And as you can tell, I've been talking about resources. And why is that important? Well, it costs money. It costs funds. Just the application process, including with any attorney's fees that the college would have to come up with, is between $5,000 and $7,000 for an application process. Now, we did hire two in the spring. This past spring, we hired two faculty members on an H-1B visa. And these faculty members have been a great asset to the departments. They've developed programs that they've been wanting to develop for a long time, and they have been contributing to their department, to the students, and have been a great asset. But yet at the same time, it did cost, there was some cost involved with that. And not only the cost of funding wise, but just to share with you, we started these processes about this time last year in order for them to get hired for spring semester. We actually tried to get them hired for fall semester, but because of different things that happened along in the line, especially with COVID, we had to go, there was additional things that processes and forms and all those kind of things that the attorneys had to work through in order to get them here to the United States from the countries that they were from because of COVID. And so that's the other thing that you need to think about. It needs to be a consideration that an H-1B visa is not somebody, you're not going to be able to hire that person if we're starting now and you need to get them hired 3 months from now. There's not going to be that opportunity to do that. Some of these processes do take 4 to 6 and sometimes even longer months in order to get them actually here and working at the United States or working here at Salt Lake Community College. So those are resources and options and things to consider for those positions. However, this is something that we've done in this past year, is to be able to come forth with the resource or with best practices and to be able to help those departments that want to do that. Once again, like I said, we've hired 2 faculty hires on the H-1B sponsorships. We actually had 3 petitions, but one was not able to complete the process, or we're still working with that person. Some other things that we've done to help recruitment and to bring forth or to share our values and to advertise our values to the applicants. The committees do have an option to include a supplemental question with the application addressing the applicant's experience of teaching underrepresented students or their work and experience with JEDI. This is important because it shows the applicant that we value these things. We value JEDI initiatives. We value their work and working with underrepresented students, but also at the same time, we not only we value those, but we want the candidate to share with us your experiences on what they've done in those areas. So that's an option that the search committees can include in with the screening processes. Also, we've included a library of questions dedicated to Jedi values, and that's within the handbook, search committee handbook. And also, we've partnered with the racial professoral program with Joanne and with the faculty development team. It's the assistant professor for non-tenure track position. This is a temporary 3-year appointment position designed for faculty of color to gain teaching experience within the higher education. And so that's also an option for the dean or the hiring managers, associate deans to bring on someone of person of color to bring them with more teaching experience that maybe that they would have had before. So what can you do to help? We want word of mouth is the most effective means of advertising. Please tell your friends, associates, professional chapters, organizations, and its social media blogs about Salt Lake Community College and what a great place to work. And especially of those that have a diverse background. We'd love to have them come and apply for our positions. Become an advocate, attend search advocate workshops, trainings, and that's something that Shaw is going to be talking about. And also, we have opportunities to educate yourselves through PW workshops with the staff experience with Anjali and through LinkedIn Learning. So, best thing to do is welcome the faculty members at Salt Lake Community College and help them feel that they belong to our community. Once again, like I said, they bring so much experience and so much background to us that we want to tap into their knowledge and help us become even better. So thank you.
Thanks, James. Appreciate your insights and your work. Juwan is up next. Juwan, are you fine? Are you connected?
I am. Can you hear me?
I can. Just let me know when you want me to change the slide.
Okay. So, hi, good afternoon. My name is Juwan Kadri, and I work in faculty development. I see you, Shaw and Lauren giving me. So I'm going to say this before, because last time I waited until the end. We have a wonderful professional development area. I want to give shout out to our supervisors, Liz Rogers and Anjali Pai, who support us to do the work we do. I want to make sure that it doesn't sound like we are doing this work kind of in isolation and each one of us is doing that kind of just alone. We have the team, we work, we don't just do faculty development. We don't just do professional development, that they have both worked together to build their relationship, and we have all worked together to have a relationship together and not have the work that we do be siloed, that we really, Lauren really gathered us to help with onboarding, like we work as a team. And I really wanna make sure that that comes across to you, that it's not just these programs. It really is a mindset and a way that we work together. And so I wanted to say that before I go into talking about the program that I work with. And that program is called Racial Equity in the Professoriate. Lisa, will you go to the next slide, please? Uh-oh, wrong way. Okay, so first I'll give you an, well, we can start here. I'll give you an overview of the program. I'll talk about the success and the struggles. I'll do a call to action for you, and then we'll talk about kind of my reflection about assessment and opportunities. Next slide. So racial equity in the professoriate is really an evolution of what some of you may know as the Diverse Faculty Fellows Program. And that program was really designed to bring in faculty of the global majority to think, and in that way, it was designed to help support faculty that were new to teaching. What we realized in the implementation of it was that it was actually not that all of the faculty were being put into that program regardless of their experience. And so we really wanted to make way and make an opportunity for faculty actually opt in to whether they felt like they needed support, or wanted support. And for those of you that don't know, sometimes being in a program like racial equity and the professoriate can be a stigma for people. Their colleagues may stigmatize them, or they may feel like, I don't want that. I don't need extra help. I don't want people looking at me like I'm deficient. So we wanted to design this. Whitney Harris and I worked on this together to design the program that we named Racial Equity in the Professoriate. And we did that because we got a lot of feedback, and we felt similarly that calling us diverse doesn't actually get at what we were trying to do. So we wanted to make sure that it was really about race, that this is what we were trying to increase as an institution. And so that's why we called it that. The other thing that we want to think about with this program is to make sure that faculty numbers match student enrollment. We know that students do better when they see faculty that look like them, that come from the backgrounds that they have. Many of us are first generation ourselves. And so we really wanted to make sure that we were matching the numbers with hiring. This program is in phases. We're in the first phase of the program, which is really about retention, getting people in and then retaining them. And so that's the part of the program that has really been built up over this last year. There will be other parts of the program that will be built, but that's the problem. I don't know why I keep saying problem. That is the part of the program that we keep working on, maybe because I do have problems on the mind, thinking of how do we solve these problems. So the next part is that within this program, we are recognizing kind of two things. One is they have a course release because there are a couple different reasons. One is that this is an extra thing that they would need to do. They have mentors that they have to meet with twice. Well, actually, they have to meet with them at least 3 times in the semester. They have paperwork that they need to turn in regarding those visits. They also have to meet with me and their AD or dean in addition to their mentoring. And the other part is that we're recognizing that there's also a tax that faculty members of the global majority or BIPOC pay because of our race. And that we're asked to do things, we volunteer to do things, we feel obligated to do things that are extra and above and beyond what our colleagues don't have to necessarily do. The other part of this program is there is a mentoring component, and I kind of talked about that a little bit, but they have mentors that are also BIPOC global majority faculty that support them to be here and can relate to them as being a faculty of the global majority, that there are things that we experience that are kind of go unseen in certain ways. And we also wanted to make sure that, especially if faculty were from outside of Utah, that they had somebody they could go to, like this is their friend, their buddy, that can help them think about what it means to be a new faculty, what it means to have moved somewhere else, and how race can really impact them in the classroom and on the campus and in their departments. Next slide, please. So here's some of the successes. In fall, we had 5 new faculty and we had 5 mentors. In the spring, we had 4 new faculty and 4 mentors. So that was very exciting. In fact, in the spring, out of 8 of those 8 new faculty hired, full-time faculty hired, 4 of them were faculty, BIPOC global majority faculty. The other success that has come out of this is really relationship building and coaching with chairs and AD. I set up a model where I worked with the ADs and the new faculty, and I meet with them twice a semester. And I did that because we make an assumption that when you give somebody something to do, they should just know how to do it. And so in our experience, we knew that some of our ADs and chairs might have needed and did need some support. And what are the things you ask a faculty member? If that's not something you're used to talking about, what I did in those sessions was really talk to them. I made it very transparent in that I told them about the literature about faculty of the global majority and what their experiences are and they feel concerns about. I then designed some questions related to that and explained why I was asking each question. There are sometimes you need to have hard conversations, but if nobody broaches it, it's really hard to have them. And so sometimes faculty are like, I don't want to talk to them about it because I don't know how they're going to feel. And then for ADs and chairs, they may be like, oh, I saw something, I'm not sure what to say about it, maybe it'll go away. Or they don't even know to ask the questions. And so I talked to them about modeling, hey, I'm asking this, so later you will ask this question. And so they'll know what are the things to think about. Another success is that it supported us in really thinking about what it meant to hire all faculty. I think sometimes faculty are really concerned that this kind of process is going to exclude them. That there will be a time when no white faculty will be able to be hired. And that's really not our goal. What ended up happening is it really had us looking at what is the experience for all faculty? What does that look like? So this program helped us to design a new faculty cohort where we're meeting with them monthly. Our team like really is in there with them. How do we make this a good experience for you? And the last part of the success, there may be more, but this is the one that I could think of, is it created a home base for not only the new faculty, but junior and senior faculty. Sometimes they come to the meeting and they're just like, I just need to look at you all. I'm just so happy to be in a space where in the last session, I talked about the mask. And not everybody has the mask, but most of us learn to have some form of mask. And so how do we get to just lay everything down and not have to think about whether somebody's going to say something funny? Am I going to be othered? Are they not going to understand my experience? We don't actually have to think about that. And so people have really kind of just fallen into each other's, we mostly don't hug because of COVID. I mean, we do sometimes hug, but it's like there's a space where you're falling mentally into someone's arms that understands your experience. And so that has been a great success out of that. Next slide, please. Some of the challenges. One of the challenges is getting the word out to campus. We didn't have an official rollout plan. And so it's kind of been different ones of us going out to different places, telling them about the program. And so that has been a struggle. There's also been a confusion. People still think this new program, it's not new, I feel like it's a revision of the old program, that people are confusing. What are we doing now? What's the old thing? People are still calling faculty, DFF faculty. And so that has been kind of somewhat of a struggle. COVID-19 also limited what activities we could do, not only together, but I had planned on starting to do some recruitment efforts outside of the college, and that really wasn't a possibility. It is becoming more and more of a possibility as we maneuver in different ways. And then the last struggle is like, I have had to build this as we go along. So we laugh about kind of the Flintstones. I'm in the car, I'm like pulling a door, I'm running with my feet, and I'm asking the faculty to help me pull in a door and give feedback. So the building it as we go has been somewhat of a struggle. Okay, next slide, please. The next phase of this program is really me now looking at the data I have from their mentoring visits, from the visits with the ADs and the new faculty. The mentors, I met with mentors and new faculty also to see their process and how that was going, and the other data. And so now I need to actually look at the data and start to do some analysis and assessment of what worked, what are some more things we need to do? Are there questions that we need to be anticipating just to make this program move smoothly? Next slide. So now this is my pitch to you all. We need you. We need you to challenge your notions of what it means to do research in a certain way, to teach in a certain way, who should be here, what they should be doing, what they're not doing. just all of the things of belonging and who gets to belong and who doesn't get to belong. So my call to action to you is to challenge yourself, but probably most likely you may have to challenge someone else. And that is a really uncomfortable place. So my call to action is for you to challenge, be ready to challenge colleagues. And I'm not saying get mad at them and fight them. I'm saying that you may want to start to ask questions. I've learned to use this when I'm in my best space, to ask questions that are not like, what are you doing? It's more like, hey, that's interesting. What makes you say that? Or how did you think of that? And often you can really dig into a question rather than call somebody and say, why did you think that? I don't know what you're doing. So it's really about that. That's one of my call to actions. And for us to really be thinking about creative ways of hiring, creative ways of doing outreach to different populations or different places that we haven't thought of. One of the things I've noticed since I'm not from Utah originally is one of the first questions that people from Utah ask me is, why'd you choose Utah? That makes me a little bit sad because it feels like people in Utah think that other people don't want to be here. So I'm going to challenge you to think that people want to be here. And so now it's up to you to just be okay with people wanting to be here. And what does it mean to create a space so that they can be here? And so my last slide, I think this is my last slide. If you have questions, feel free to email me, stop by my office, or give me a call. I'm here to answer your questions. I've had people reach out to me that are like, I don't know what to do, and I don't want to talk about it in a big group. So please come to me if you need to ask things to me quietly. I think I'm a pretty safe space. People don't, so I will challenge, but it's not challenge of humiliation. It is really me being with people to get them to ask the questions. And so people have come to me to ask, I don't know what to do. How can I do this? They may need help pushing their area. So that's my number, my email for you to get to do that. Okay, I think that's it. I hope I didn't take up anybody's space.
You're awesome, Joan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Lauren, are you ready? Oops.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, just let me know when you need me to change the slide.
All right, that sounds great. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining this afternoon. I have a window where I'm sitting and it looks pretty nice out there. So very appreciative you're all joining in today. Again, I'm Lauren Erlacher. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I've been working in People and Workplace Culture Division for about a year now. I'm the recruitment and employee experience manager, and I also work in onboarding our new employees. First of all, I just wanted to share kind of my approach to recruitment and onboarding, and it's recognizing that the candidate experience and the new employee experience are just, they're key stages to an employee's journey here at SLCC, and because there's so many moments that matter. Actually, next slide. Thanks, Lisa. So to help us all define and think about the candidate and employee experience perspective, if you could take a moment and think about all of the factors you considered throughout the hiring process in making your decision to join a new organization. And then also, can everyone remember their first day on the job? Just because both of those things, they're very distinct memories and have a lot of emotions. And so remembering those experiences is something that people will always have. So next slide. So here at SLCC, we want people to join us, and we want more mission and purpose-driven people. And so how we attract, invite, and share and prepare and welcome our new employees is vital to their decision to join us and their new employee experience here at SLCC. So first of all, I wanted to highlight a few things and show out some of the work that's been done in attracting diverse candidates to Salt Lake Community College and building our employer brand this past year. So the first two things that I've done is creating a Working at SLCC website page. I think Anjali put some links in the chat, and also update our jobs portal page. I like to think of it as a 3-click rule, and as an applicant, if you can't get what you need in 3 minutes, then it's just too much time and too much effort. So we don't want applicants to have to dig too deep to show all of the work that we're doing here at SLCC and all of your work. So we want them to be able to find the information that they need. And we want to, when we're hiring and retaining employees, we need to tell a compelling story. So on this slide, I also included this little tagline that my colleague, that one of our colleagues, Jane Stringham, she works in institutional marketing. She actually did this. So I'm so appreciative. But I really think it gets to the point of, we are a people-centered workplace and student-centered classrooms. So I love this line. And I think, both of those pages are really just giving applicants and candidates the opportunity to see really quickly and easily some of the work that we do here, because it's so important to show that we truly are a people-centered workplace and student-centered classrooms. So next slide, please. So earlier today, I didn't know Jeff Aird was going to talk about inclusive language, but that was actually kind of one of the things that I thought that I would talk about today, because I believe that it really is the path to follow to attract diverse candidates to Salt Lake Community College. And so I'll talk a little bit more about that. And then some of my other colleagues, like how Joanne just shared that she is building support communities. And after this, my colleague Shaw McNeil is going to talk a little bit more about addressing unconscious bias throughout the hiring process, which is so important too. But this is kind of the path to follow when we are trying to attract diverse candidates to SLCC. I took a class a little bit earlier, I guess it was last spring, but an HR Diverse Faculty workshop through the academic network, and he really outlined these 4 steps as well. So it's just, next slide, please. So I'm going to share a few examples that we can all talk through of inclusive language that I think really define us as a college and as an employer, and they show our commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. And this is what attracts candidates. So earlier this year, I created an institutional snapshot. I have been using it for some vice president prospectuses because there's been kind of a couple of VP positions that have come up this year. But I'm also working with my colleague, Jake Erickson. He is working on creating some hiring toolkits for supervisors. And so some of these texts can be available to everyone. Sharing diversity statements, our mission statement, our vision, strategic initiatives, and also by sharing like in the position description or when you are interviewing candidates or just highlighting this work, sharing our EEO statement, that just shows that we value contributions from each SLCC community member and that we are striving to create a secure and welcoming and respectful environment for our employees. And right there, that shows our commitment to equity. So those are a couple of ideas. I also really like the idea of, if you include the land acknowledgement, like my colleague Shaw does on her email, when you are, going back to that candidate experience, when you're getting a invite to interview with us at SLCC and someone sends you an email and you see on their email, maybe the land acknowledgement, or maybe you see someone linked to our LGBTQ resources and include their pronouns, that immediately shows to the candidate that it's a safe space, if that makes sense. And so I'm grateful for all the work Peter Musin and others have been doing on this campus to have some SLCC definitions for that. But, and actually even think about the interview process. So if you enter a room in an interview and everyone has their pronouns identified, that just indicates to them that this is a safe space and that we want them to show up authentically. And so these are just little tips that all of us can do to show our inclusive, language to candidates, and that can help attract them. And you can also, I'm trying to think of other things, I'm looking through this list. When you're sharing out your job opportunities and personal and professional networks, you can also, talk about how this position relates to the college's mission, vision, or value. So these are things all of us can do to show our inclusive and to really highlight our community that we're building here. Next slide. Thanks, Lisa. Okay. But I do have to say, simply by telling people that our college is great, it's not enough. And so you, as our employees, are our best advocate. And I know that we all do the work and support our work in building this community that other people, want to join. So any way that we can, I kind of shared this example a little while ago, but any way that you can live the examples. I gave the example of challenging during the supervisor support session, I think maybe 2 weeks ago, about seeing how many people have actually used, full-time employees use their community engagement leave. We all get 24 hours. But if we're all going out into the community and using this, and those are the partnerships and the outreach that we want to show to those community organizations, that we are out here actually serving our community. And those are some of the greatest recruitment strategies that we could all help with. So thanks so much, everyone. That's a little bit of, the important work that we're doing. And I'm going to turn the time over to my colleague, Shaw, to talk about the Search Advocate Program.
Great, Shaw, go ahead. Here's a cute photo of Lauren. Okay.
Can y'all
Shaw,
hear
you're
me
up.
okay?
Yep,
Everybody
go
can
ahead.
hear me okay? All right, sweet. So hey everyone, my name is Shaw McNeil, and we are going to talk about the Search Advocate Program. Oh, next slide, please. I'm like clicking my computer knowing I do not have access. So my first question for the group is, why is it important to have a diverse staff and faculty population? If you want to go ahead and start thinking about your ideas and throwing them in the chat, that would be awesome. But for the sake of time, I'm going to start to answer that question. So as it was stated earlier, research shows that having a diverse population for staff and faculty helps support students in their education, that seeing themselves in this community makes them feel safe and secure enough to be able to learn. And we want to try to foster that community in a way that not only supports our students, but helps us support one another. Next slide. Awesome. So our why, so the Search Advocate, so what the Search Advocate Program is that we help ensure equitable hiring practices throughout the college. So from seeing folks in the chat, I see some folks that are Search Advocates, but there's a lot of names that I don't know here. So I'm gonna go into a little bit more detail. So the Search Advocate Program was started about 3, 4, 5 years ago, I think, something like that, here at SLCC, where we have a person, a search advocate, that is trained in equitable hiring practices and trained in our HR process to sit on our search committee as the person to really stop and challenge what's going on in our search process. Meaning, if we are looking at the job description, right? Ideally, search advocates are brought into a search committee before the job is posted in PARS. So as soon as you know that someone is leaving, a search advocate can be assigned to the search, and they will help go through the job description and say like, okay, so this hasn't been updated in the last 5-10 years. The world has changed a lot. This position probably has changed a lot. What does this really look like now? How do we modernize? If it's not a word, it's a word now. Modernize this to be where we are now, right? Like, how does this really reflect? And so it's the search advocate's duty to do that, right? And during the search, we know one of the examples that I gave before was everyone knows how they work, right? And everyone would hire themselves. So if you've seen yourself in a candidate, you are most likely to be drawn towards that candidate because you will, of course, hire yourself. However, the one thing that our search advocates and what I want to challenge you on is that we already have you in that department. So let's see, how do we get other folks that are not like you into the department so that we're, again, diversifying. And with diversity meaning age, gender, sexuality, ethnicity, ability, neurodivergency, right? Like, so it's not just ethnicity wise, but in general, how do we diversify our departments? And that's really important. Again, and it's our goal for the advocate to be on the search at the job description. And the reason for this is that once the job description is submitted, there are no changes that can happen to it unless you completely take down the job and then repost it, right? So in that, if you say, well, I want to post something or I want to ask a question in the question side, but you didn't put something about that in the job description, or if you want to do the minimums or preferred, but you didn't put that in the job description previously, you cannot put that in any of the rest of the search. So it's with the search advocate that we are here to really slow down the process, even though I know folks are like, I needed this person 3 weeks ago, let alone trying to slow down the process. But when we move too fast, the first thing to go is always equity and social justice. So with slowing down, we're really leaving that room for those things to come in. Next slide, please. So some search advocate frequently asked questions. First is, how many advocates do we have? If you were at SLCC 360 and heard me speak last year, we had 40 at the time, and now we have 117 search advocates. If you are a search advocate here with us today, please just throw in the chat that you're here. Because we, again, have 117 of us. It's great. Can faculty be search advocates? Absolutely. We actually encourage faculty to be search advocates so that when we have folks that are, when we're getting new faculty members, we can have faculty specific folks sit on those searches from different departments. So that's our goal with that. And how do you become a search advocate? So there's 2 ways to become a search advocate. The first is in-person session, which is held on the Taylorsville Redwood campus in the technology building. It's a 2-day training. And the other one is online training in Canvas. So, and that is self-paced. And you sign up yourself. It's in my signature. It's online. If you need anything, you can just shoot me an email, and I'll send you the link as well. And it's a self-paced course to make sure that you are getting all the knowledge you need, and it's really for the faculty and staff that don't have the ability to come in person. So yeah. And if you haven't finished it yet, that's totally okay. You move at in your speed, and we'll be glad to have you whenever. The next is, when's the next in-person training? It's April 11th and 12th. Again, it's a 2-day training. And lastly, what is a community practice session? So for our professional development for our search advocates, we have these 1-hour sessions once a month that we go through different topics. Right now, we're going step by step through our hiring process. So 2 weeks ago was writing a job description and how to effectively write a job description and supporting hiring managers. Coming up next week or 2 weeks is Jake Erickson will be doing, and Lauren will be doing recruitment, talking about recruitment strategies and how search advocates can do that. And we're going to go step by step through the hiring process. And then we also did LGBTQIA in hiring. We're looking at autism in hiring. And then how do we do becoming an HSI, and what does that mean for hiring as well? So that will be coming up. And next slide. So I just wanted y'all to see my awesome headshot photo. So there's that. Up at the Capitol is great photo. I don't know where else to post it, so I wanted everybody else to see it. For more information or anything like that, feel free to email me. I also, in our staff development, my full role is the coordinator for justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion. So I do JEDI training as well. So if there's anything that your department or a group of folks want to look into, for sure I can help with that. So I've taught cultural belonging in departments, helping support folks with the JEDI goal that came through with GPS, helping to set goals in that way. Or if you have any other idea of how I could best support you and work with your team, please just shoot me an email and I'm here to support. Thank you. Back to you, Lisa.
Shaw and everybody. Liz and Anjali, are there any questions that we should address? It's almost time to break and then go to the wrap-up session.
Not that I can see in the chat. There's just been some comments here and there, but not that I'm aware of in terms of a specific question that one of our panelists can be answered. So if anybody would like to change that and add anything in the chat or unmute, you're welcome to do that.
So we are the people office, right? And we're happy to talk with you about the things we've shared today, give you more insight, help you participate, or especially if you're a hiring manager, please let us help you with that, including diversity in your hiring. Anyway, thanks for joining us today. We appreciate that so much, and enjoy the wrap-up reconnect session at 3 o'clock. Thanks, everyone.